Hello everyone and welcome to another GunPla review. This time we are looking at the YMS-15 Gyan. This is the unit most famously used by M'Quve in the original Mobile Suit Gundam series. It is a mostly melee machine, so it doesn't have a lot of extra cool gadgets or gizmos to look at. However, the kit itself is decently made, and there are a lot of positives to this kit. Aesthetically, you can see the nice color there, the blues, light and dark. Beam saber, shield looks nice, and under the shield, even though it's very difficult to see, you can actually see the little missile warheads inside the shield. Back here, you have the nice engine looking good, a little bit of glossy finish. As for the stickers, there isn't much to talk about. We have two different options for the eye, a smaller eye and a larger eye. I'm using the larger eye for this one just because I thought it looked cooler, but you can use your own choice. And there is, let's get this, moving the sword out of the way there, you can get a little bit of sticker here near the cockpit area. And that's it, you just have the two. Beyond that, there is not much to talk about in terms of the aesthetic. It is very simple, straightforward 1970s giant robot. In terms of flexibility, this kit has mixed results. So on the foot here, you get a lot of foot movement, even a little bit of toe movement. That's right there, the little upper toe, which is kind of nice. Knee is easy to turn, but because of the way it's designed, it only gets about that. You're looking at about a good 50-ish, 60 degrees right there. In terms of straightforward kick, however, arm just fell off. That's not great. Can barely get to 90, but that's because of just how this armor is set up around the waist. And the outside kick, though, pretty decent. That armor bends pretty well. Not that you're going to need to do a major side kick with this unit, but just to show you that the front skirt's a little tight because of how it's designed, but the side skirts are relatively loose. A little decent forward crunch. Okay back, and nothing too impressive, but it is a high grade, so that's not too bad. Of course, you get your full rotation around the waist here. Always nice. Head has back, forward, barely, side to side, obviously. The good news is it's not really blocked by the shoulders or anything along those lines. The back has no movement on the thrusters, but the back skirt does wiggle. So you get a little butt wiggle there, which is nice. Of course, front skirt barely moves. That's, of course, what limited the legs earlier. And the side skirts have an okay amount of movement here. So you get some options, at least on that regard. For the arm, well, you get your full rotate. Hypothetically, your arm has full rotation at the shoulder. In addition to that, of course, you have the full rotation of the hand. We got a pretty good close in here of the arms. You can got the double joint kind of thing going. And of course, obviously, the rotation at the shoulder for the arm itself. So pretty nice if the arms would actually just stay on. And the hands sometimes get a little loose too. So let me get his arms back on and we will get on to the next section. As I said earlier, the Gyan is essentially a melee suit, so you don't get a lot of extra gear. We have the beam saber, which is kind of cool looking with its nice little foil, fencing foil looking design. And the beam saber blade actually seems to have a little bit more thickness than a standard beam saber blade, which I actually do appreciate. It looks pretty cool. The shield itself is nice and heavy. It has a unique connector here that actually requires it to connect to two parts on the arm in order to allow it to actually stay on the arm, which is why removing it is relatively difficult. There is no mechanical thing with the missiles or anything like that. It's just there to look kind of cool. And that's about it for weaponry gear. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the hands. Now, of course, you have your standard holding hand. This is just the one that it comes with. But you may have noticed that my beam saber was held by a different hand. This hand has a slightly different grip, and the wrist here can be adjusted up and down, though it is very tight. to allow for slightly different holdings of the sword. So pop it back in here when it's on the lowest thing there, and you see that it's kind of more like that. Makes it kind of interesting that you can mess around with that kind of stuff. The only spare part we have is a pulley cap. It's one of these little neck things right here, which is nice to have a spare one of because there's lots of kits that use these. But otherwise, as you can see, every other pulley cap has been utilized in order to build this kit. So it is an efficient usage of the plastic provided. Overall, this isn't a bad kit. It's a simple kit, but not a bad one. You have all the gear the Gyan is supposed to have. It's a relatively fast build, very few stickers, and has some decent posability options. That being said, the arms, which are kind of important for a melee unit, have a tendency to fall off. In fact, when I was trying to pose this a little bit differently, the arm fell off again. So, yay for that. However, you can make it look pretty cool, and if you're building up a Xeon army, this is kind of a nice unit to add in, especially if you want a quick, easy build. It's definitely not without its flaws, but overall, I think it's a pretty good kit. However, there isn't a lot to really recommend this kit for either, outside of just filling in your Xeon forces. In the end, it's a relatively mid design, but it's a unique build and generally looks good on your desk. I hope this has helped your GunPla purchasing decision. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the tavern.